Hello, it is Jack Gill and welcome back to Mundo Sporto. It is Leeds versus Chelsea. I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a really, really good game of football. Chelsea looking resurgent under Thomas Tuchel. 10 games in charge now and without a defeat. They're looking very, very good in that back three. Leeds in a bit of a poor run. However, we know their threat in front of goal and we know that they're a very attacking side. And they might cause problems for this Chelsea side today, who have only conceded the once under Thomas Tuchel. And that was, of course, Takumi Minamino, the goal scorer of that. It's a big week for Chelsea too. They've got Atletico Madrid during the week, midweek. So it'll be good for them to get started with a win today. But before I let you know about the team news and stuff like that, I just want to remind you of our sponsors for today's video, which is, of course, OneFootball. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is the only football app you need to follow thousands of teams, hundreds of leagues and competitions worldwide. It is packed with all the latest news, videos, fixtures, scores, stats, and key dates, and it personalizes the content that you want. It allows you to put your favorite team in, your favorite leagues, the fixtures you want to follow. It is an incredible app that I use, all my friends use, my family use it, everyone I know uses OneFootball, and if you're not using it yet, you need to go and download it. So there you go, just a reminder to download OneFootball and make sure you're using that. It's a very, very good app and one that I use and most people I know use as well. But let's get started with the team news for today's game. Connor has done us a lovely graphic look, which gets my face out of the way and gets the two team sheets on the screen. It's set Chelsea up in a back four, but we know they'll be in a back three today. That's the most likely one anyway. With Rudiger, Christensen, and Azpilicueta, Chilwell, and probably Pulisic as the wing backs. Jorginho, Kante, Mount, Ziyech, and Havertz. Havertz, who looked so good against Everton, of course, after finding it difficult to adapt to life in the Premier League and life in England. But as I say, that game against Everton, he was a lot better, and he leads the line for Chelsea today. And as for Leeds, you've got Meslier in goal, Alioski, Strujic, Lorente, Ayling, and then you've got Calvin Phillips back from his injury, of course. Then Jack Harrison off the left, Dallas, Roberts, Rafinha, and Patrick Bamford leads the line for Leeds. Score predictions then, I'm going to start with mine. I think it's going to be 2-1 or 3-1. 3-1 to Chelsea, I'm going to say. So that is my prediction for today. Let me know your predictions. As I say, I've got the two teams on the screen there, but I'm going to take them off now so you people can see this face. But no, I'm looking forward to this one, and I predict it'll be a pretty close affair. I think Leeds are going to give Chelsea a difficult game. So yeah, I'm going to say 3-1 to Chelsea. That's my prediction. I think Leeds will score against Chelsea, which has been a difficult task for sides coming against Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea recently. But I do think Leeds will break through today and get a goal. But I can still see Chelsea winning convincingly. Let me know in the comments what you think about Chelsea and how they've looked since Thomas Tuchel's come in. I think they're going to push Manchester United for second place. I think they've looked so good. It's not a shock for me, though, because, they spent so much money in the summer. And this is what you should be expecting from Chelsea. So it's an interesting one. I think Lampard definitely underachieved at Chelsea, and Chelsea were underperforming under him. But I expected when they got a better manager in for them to have this bounce because, they're a good side. They've got a very good squad, and they spent a lot of money in the summer. So, we should be expecting this from Chelsea. Let me get in the comments then, see what everyone's saying and predicting ahead of this one. Liam FGC says 1-0 to Leeds. Addison Turamani says 2-1 to Chelsea. Elevator Kid says 2-1 to Chelsea. Kat says 2-0 to Chelsea. Everyone saying hi and welcome everyone in the chat. Hopefully today's game is as good as the last one I did, the midweek game, of course, between Porto and Juventus, where you lovely people got us to 15k during that stream, and what a game that was. I was so confused by the end. It was just madness. I wasn't allowed to breathe throughout the entire 120 minutes. And yeah, it was a good game. I hope you all enjoyed it. And obviously the highlights are up on the Mundo Sporto channel if you want to go and check them out and you didn't miss it. Addison pointing out that I don't need to pronounce that last name. Thank you, Addison. Chicken Boy says 2-0 to Chelsea. Nord Reds thinks it's going to be a lot of goals in this one, a goal fest. He says 4-2 to Chelsea. George YNWA says 1-1. Interesting. Loads of people split with their team, with their score predictions then. Liam FGC, the only one that's got a Leeds win down. Kat thinks Havertz is going to score a brace. Interesting. Shall I put a bet on it? Fine, I'll put a bet on it. But yeah, it will be interesting. As I say, Havertz was loads better against Everton on Monday night. So, I think Thomas Tuchel has given him the nod today. He's leading the line, obviously, in the absence of Timo Werner. And we'll see if it works for Chelsea today. Liam Barry says 2-2. Adrian says 3-1 to Chelsea. That's the same as I've said, mate. I think 3-1 Chelsea. And yeah, we've got some fancy banners, so we'll be able to put the lineups down at the bottom for you. So there's the Leeds lineup first of all, and then I'll put the Chelsea lineup on the screen for you afterwards. Addison thinks Bamford will score today. I hope not, because I've taken him out my fantasy team. He's on the bench for me this week, so I really hope he doesn't score. Leeds could either turn up and get a good draw or lose 3-0, says George YNWA. Yeah, we've seen a mixed Leeds all season, haven't we? They're just so unpredictable, but they're a threat, and they've given teams like Manchester City and Liverpool really good games, but then they bent over for Manchester United, of course. And there's been other games where they've been really leaky at the back and just not looked good. I think Arsenal was another one of them where they got battered. So it's interesting, but they are a good outfit, Leeds, and I do expect them to cause issues for Chelsea today. Liam Barry says he will score, Jack, as he's in my FPL. Oh, the confidence there. Adrian says, any info on Rafinha and Liverpool? Yes. I hope he comes. That's the only info I've got. No, there's no information in terms of whether it will happen. I think it's extremely unlikely Leeds will sell. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg if we want it to happen. But I think it'll be an extremely good signing for us. I really, really do, and I hope it happens. Elevator Kid says, "What's with Leeds conceding 4 goals a game?" Yeah, they're very open, aren't they? They're a very, very open outfit, and they score a lot, but they also concede an awful lot too. That just goes with the playing style. Ali Morali says Gerrard to Leeds. Yeah, we had this really interesting chat the other day with Joe Wainman from All Leeds TV, and it's actually there's a video clip from the podcast surrounding that. I think he's the perfect fit for Leeds. As you know, though, Bielsa isn't really predictable with whether he's going to sign a new contract or not. He likes the 1-year extensions. There's no reason for him to leave, none at all. But if he was to leave, I do think Gerrard would be a perfect fit for them. However, there's lots of talk. He'll be playing in the Champions League with Rangers next season. Would go into Leeds be a step down. I'm sure he'd like to stay at Rangers and see what he can do for them in the Champions League. And it may be, I expect him to make the move away from Rangers at the end of next season. That's my opinion. But I would like to see him take a better job before he comes to Liverpool. I really do. George YNWA thinks Gerrard will go to Newcastle. I hope he wouldn't. I think that would be a car crash of a decision for him. I really do. I wouldn't like to see him at Newcastle whatsoever. Bren's Lee says, respect Bielsa 1,000 days in charge. I didn't know that when I was doing my notes beforehand. I didn't know it was his 1000th day in charge of Leeds United. Yeah, he's an outstanding manager, isn't he? And he deserves respect for the things he's done to this football club. You know, he's got them back where they belong. Leeds belong in the Premier League, and they've been away from it for far too long. They've gone through a lot of managers to get them back here, and Bielsa was the man that's done it, and he's done it in a really nice style. They play good football now, which they're often praised for, but they're very open too. There's still a lot of work to be done with Leeds, but they're not a bad side, are they? And their first season back up in the Premier League has been decent from Leeds. Makala says 2-1 to Chelsea. Rumoured that Bayern are interested in Rafinha, according to Adrian. Yeah, I'm sure lots of top clubs will be interested in Rafinha because he's a top player. He's a top talent. He really is. And I'm excited to see him in action today. But yeah, I'm just looking at the table. A win would temporarily put Chelsea above Leicester and into third place. So that is obviously the aim for Chelsea today. Mohit Kumar says North London derby predictions. If you want to check all mine and Craig's Premier League predictions ahead of this weekend, when this video is finished, me and Craig do a Mundo Sporto predictions every single week. So we predict the Premier League games and their outcomes. And with this week we recorded and it went out yesterday, so do check that out. It's a really good video. Liam Barry says, Jack, could you see Gerrard going to Sheffield United? No, not personally. I think that job is either Eddie Howe's or Frank Lampard's, in my opinion. Elevator Kids busy playing career mode. Hope it's going well, mate. Any more comments here? Addison says when Leeds win, it's always 1-0. Good day from Brisbane, Australia, says Frank H. Good day, mate. That was awful, wasn't it? That was absolutely disgusting from me. I am so sorry, Frank. Let's have a look. Kevin Ball says if Leeds had any sort of defence, they would be near top 4. You know, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. But she doesn't, so she's not. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they've got a long way to go. But they're a decent outfit, and they're under a very, very good coach, and someone that, if he stays at Leeds, will keep them building and getting better and better season by season. Their recruitment's been very good. You know, bringing in someone like Rafinha has been outstanding for them. I've seen they're heavily linked with Rodrigo de Paul as well, which would be an outstanding signing for Leeds. So yeah, they're going in the right directions. I'm just not sure about top 4. If I'm honest with you. Let's have a look. More comments. Yeah, as Connor Crosby says there, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. Yeah, cheers, Connor. Ali Morali says, think Stevie G should go to a mid-table side, then come to us so he has experience. Yeah, I think all Liverpool fans think that. You know, we'd like to see him get experience in a top job before he comes to Liverpool, because we want to avoid another Lampard. And we've seen him win a league title in Scotland. But I'd like to see him do it in the Premier League. Not do it in the Premier League, but I'd like to see him do a good job with, you know, a team like Leeds in the Premier League. Take them to Europe, for example, and then that would pave his way into replacing Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. But yeah, I would like to see Gerrard at another Premier League club before he comes to Liverpool. Who do you think would win the? I love the spelling of this, Ray J. Who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or 2021? Who do I think will win it? It's an interesting one. I think Mbappe. That's what I'm going with. Kylian Mbappe to win the Ballon d'Or. There you go. You heard it here first. Let me read out the teams again then. For Leeds, Meslier, Ayling, Llorente, Strujic, Alioski, Phillips, Rafinha, Roberts, Dallas, Harrison, Bamford. And for Chelsea, we have Mendy, Chilwell, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Kante, Pulisic, Mount, Ziyech, Havertz. That is the 2 lineups. And for Leeds on the bench, they've got Koch, Poveda, Casilla, Costa, Rodrigo, Berardi, Click, Shackleton and Jenkins. And for Chelsea, they have Kepa Arrizabalaga, Alonso, Werner, Zuma, Kovacic, Giroud, Hudson-Odoi, Reece James and Emerson. So they are the 2 lineups and the 2 benches today. We're going to get underway very soon. Remember that I will be slightly behind, but not too far, and it won't make much of a difference. Martin Sickle asking me about Monday and my starting lineup prediction. I'll most likely be doing the starting lineup show then, and I'm recording a preview later on today with Leon from Boyle Sports. So I'll save it for that video, and we'll focus on today for now. But there is this, Ray J says, I'm going with Messi, but I like your opinion. Messi's been knocked out of the round of 16 of the Champions League. I don't think he'll win it. Just my honest opinion. Connor Crosby saying, Cock, what a name. Yeah, it is an interesting name. An unfortunate one for him as well. People pointing out that I need to not forget the clock today. I forgot it in midweek. And yeah, I need to make sure I'm on the ball for today. Let me just move my TV, because I can't really see it, and that wouldn't be a good idea, would it? Let's have a look. Yep, I'll leave this on screen to remind me not to forget the clock. But we will be underway very soon. They're just needing for Black Lives Matter, of course. Something that I'm glad to see still in the Premier League, and I'm glad to see them still doing it. I think it's a really good thing to be done. And here we go. Ignore me. Don't forget. I have tried to sort the clock out, but it isn't working right now. Let me just try and sort it out. Oh, Chelsea on the ball at the back. Here's Mendy, who goes back to the skipper, Azpilicueta, and a man that Tuchel has really given faith to since coming in for Chelsea. He's played a lot of minutes under the new gaffer, the Chelsea skipper. And Leeds have the ball high up the pitch now, but Calvin Phillips is giving away a free kick to Chelsea. Give me a sec. Let me try the clock again. There we go. It's now working. But let me... Calvin Phillips is limping for Leeds now, so it doesn't look good early on for Leeds. He's gone in for a tackle with Mason Mount, and he's limping. He's only just come back from injury, so that's a worry for Leeds. Sorry about the early issues with the clock, firstly, and the lag. I'll try and update the clock as soon as I can. It is behind. I'm in the almost entering the second minute of this game as Chelsea just keep the ball as we know they like to under Thomas Tuchel. And here's Havertz, but he's lost it. And it's booted out of play for a Chelsea throw. And I'm just looking, the camera's panned to Calvin Phillips again, who's still moving very gingerly. And that is an early worry for Leeds. Chilwell, good tackle by Dallas. Oh no, it's not a good tackle by Dallas. He's gone through Chilwell first, and the referee has given a free kick in the way of Chelsea. Oh yeah, definite free kick there. Dallas has gone straight through Chilwell before getting the ball there. And the ball is kicked forwards now towards Havertz. Havertz tackled by Luke Ayling, and Chelsea have the throw on this right-hand side, high up the field. Chilwell will take it. Let's have a look. Let me try and update the clock now quickly while Chelsea have a throw. Chilwell throws long. Havertz tries to get it across. It's blocked by Luke Ayling. Ziyech gets it back off Ayling too easily. Just inside the box now. Mason Mount. Calvin Phillips clears. He seems to be moving a bit better now. There you go. Clock is all sorted now. But yeah, it's harder than it looks, guys. That's all I can say. Ray J. Cole says, I would love to see you get to 100k. Us too, mate. So make sure you're sharing this video. Make sure you're liking it. Subscribe yourself. That's the only way it's going to get better, as Leeds have the ball along the back now. Sorry, again, if there's a bit of a lag. For me, my Wi-Fi isn't working too great this morning. But it should be fine now. I think we've got through. a very laggy bit that we had a moment ago. But Leeds have a throw in on the right-hand side now. Luke Ayling will take it. He's taking his time with this one, bloody hell. But he eventually takes it and finds Tyler Roberts. But Leeds can't keep possession as Rudiger has the ball now for Chelsea. Boots it far up the pitch to Mount. Jorginho looks for Ziyech, but Sturridge does really, really well. And here is Dallas, the Northern Ireland international, of course. He finds Jack Harrison on this left-hand side for Leeds, but Jack Harrison's pass is poor, and Chelsea regain possession. Jorginho over to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. It started slowly, this game. I thought it would be an entertaining affair, but it started quite slow. An early kickoff, of course. We can often see this. We know top managers don't really like the early kickoffs in the Premier League. Here's Antonio Rudiger bursting forwards for Chelsea. Looks for Mason Mount, who is their star man at the moment, Mason Mount. He's looked outstanding under Thomas Tuchel. He really has turned into a top young talent, Mason Mount. Anthony Perry Dorr thinks it'll be 3-3 today. Here is Mason Mount. Chilwell. Great tackle there by Tyler Roberts, and it will be a Chelsea throw. 5 minutes gone now in this game. As I say, it's been a bit of a flat opening 5 minutes, but hopefully it'll get better. I think a lot of people have predicted a high-scoring affair in this game. I have personally backed it as over 1.5 goals in the ACCA today. Azpilicueta is fouled by Jack Harrison, and it is a free kick to Chelsea. Anthony Perry Dorr says, I can see Chelsea as title contenders next season. Big summer for Chelsea. Yep. Well, when any club spends 200 million like they did last summer, you expect them to be title contenders, don't you? And I think a lot of people went at the start of this season. Take them a while to adjust, but then next season there will be title contenders. And I think there's a lot of teams that will be next season. It's going to be very interesting as Jorginho wins the ball high up the pitch for Chelsea, finds Mason Mount. Mount over to Ziyech. But yeah, Spurs as well. I think they'll be title contenders if they can sign two good centre halves. I really do. Here on the right hand side is Pulisic, who gets it across, and Havertz gets a good touch on it. He should have done better there, really. It was really good work on the right hand side from Pulisic, who danced past his man and got a really good ball across. And it looked like Luke Hayden was going to get it away, but he was flat-footed. And here come Leeds. Patrick Bamford squares it to Tyler Roberts. The flag's up. The ball is in the back of the net, and VAR will look at that. Well, I didn't see how Leeds got through there. It must have been quick attacking play. Obviously, Chelsea had that brilliant chance. Yeah, he was offside, Patrick Bamford. So the goal won't stand. But there's a better sign of this game and what might happen. Chelsea have a really good chance. One end, Pulisic with really good work on the right-hand side, gets the ball across. Luke Ayling is flat-footed, and Havertz really should do better with that chance in the end. It's too easy for Meslier to save it. And then Leeds come up the other end and have the ball in the back of the net, but Patrick Bamford was a couple of yards offside, and the linesman has got that spot on. Ray J. Cole thinks it'll be 3-2. Yeah, as I said, the game started a bit flat. The first 5 minutes was quite slow when the ball went out. Both sides were taking their time with throw-ins and free kicks and stuff. But, you know, the last minute or so, this game has burst into life. Both sides having a really, really good opportunity. Leeds having the ball in the back of the net, but it ruled out for offside and correctly ruled out for offside. And Havertz really should have done better with his chance too. As I say, that Azpilicueta lets the ball run past him, and here is Pulisic, who has started really well. Azpilicueta, who miscontrols the ball but manages to get it under control in the end. Here is Kante, Ziyech, Rudiger now on the halfway line for Chelsea. He bursts forwards again. He's another one who has benefited from Thomas Tuchel coming in, and he plays the ball over to Chilwell on the left, but it is just behind the England and Chelsea left back and goes out for a Leeds throw. But here I'm seeing that chance for Leeds. It was so well worked. You know, Meslier throws it out quickly to Rafinha, who does a couple of stepovers and then plays the ball in behind to Patrick Bamford. But of course, Bamford had just strayed offside. And I thought the Chelsea line was a good line. Dark one has gone 3-1 to Chelsea for this one. That's exactly the same as I predicted, mate. Anthony Perry-Dor saying Tuchel's style of play, he's playing his PSG system when attacking when the ball is lost. Yeah, he's a good manager, Tuchel. I thought PSG got rid of him too early. It's clear they're desperate to win the Champions League, isn't it? And apparently there was a few issues behind the scenes, but he got them to the Champions League final last year. I think they got rid of him certainly far too early. But Pochettino, of course, isn't a bad replacement, is he? Here's Chilwell on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Mason Mount now. N'Golo Kante. Over to the right-hand side where Pulisic is. Pulisic back to Kante. Havertz back to Pulisic. Really good football. And that was comical. How can I explain that? Lolonte tried to clear the ball for Leeds. It's come off his own man. It's come off another Leeds player and ended up rattling the crossbar and going straight into the hands of Meslier. A moment of madness for Leeds there, who do look so messy at the back. Seeing that back now, the Lorente breathes a sigh of relief afterwards as he tries to clear the ball. I don't know who it comes off in the end. I think it's Strujic, and just thunders the crossbar as the ball's played in behind by Mount to Havertz. Havertz back to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta pulls it back, but Dallas wins it back for Leeds. That final ball just hasn't been there for Chelsea today, but warning signs for Leeds early on. Their defence has been fragile, to say the least. Too easy to get through and comical at times, as we saw there. Here's Rafinha on the right-hand side. A few stepovers as he tries to dance past Chilwell. He gets it through his legs and tries to square the ball, but Jorginho is there for Chelsea and Kante clears away. Here is Luke Ayling on the right-hand side. He plays a 1-2 with Calvin Phillips and then looks backwards. What's he going to do with it? Here is Lorente, who survived after that moment of madness before. Calvin Phillips plays a 1-2 with Lorente, who has it back now. Strujic. Lorente over to the right-hand side where Luke Ayling is. Luke Ayling pumps it forwards towards Patrick Bamford, who tries to get it under control with his chest, but the linesman's flags up for offside again. So Chelsea playing that line really well today. That's a couple of times already in this opening 12 minutes that they've caught Patrick Bamford offside. Joe O'Connor spamming the chat there. Please don't spam the chat, mate. I can see every comment asking if I commentate on every game. I don't know. Craig does a few of them too. But yeah, we try and do the big ones this weekend. I've got the North London derby tomorrow. Craig then afterwards is doing the Manchester United game against West Ham. I've got West Ham down for a win there. I know Manchester United have a few injury concerns going into that one. And West Ham, of course, having a very good season in the Premier League. Chelsea have a free kick now, which will be taken by the skipper, Azpilicueta. Anthony Perry-Dor says that he thought Alonso's career was over at Chelsea, but it seems like he wants to play him. Yeah, he keeps changing between Chilwell and Alonso, doesn't he? But Chilwell has got the nod today ahead of Alonso. Let's have a look. Anthony Perry-Dor says Gerrard needs to stay away from Leeds, stay at Rangers till 2024. That's following the conversation we had earlier about would Gerrard be a perfect fit at Leeds. As I said, I spoke to a Leeds fan about that on the podcast for Mundo Sporto the other day. So please go and check that out after you've watched this video. It is an interesting chat on Gerrard and Leeds and whether he's a good fit or not. We obviously don't know whether Bielsa will be staying at Leeds past this season. He likes his one-year extensions, of course. I'm just watching the comical error from Leeds at the back again where Lorente tries to clear the ball. I think it comes off Patrick Bamford, actually. And just Meslier looks absolutely stunned as he sees that thunder against the crossbar and just ricochet back into the hands of the Leeds goalkeeper. Here is Havertz now for Chelsea. It goes backwards where Rudiger is on the halfway line. Rudiger takes the ball forwards to Chelsea again, over to the left-hand side where Chilwell is. Chilwell cuts inside. Can he get past Rafinha? Here's N'Golo Kante. Havertz. Leeds pressing Chelsea here. Ziyech over to the right where Pulisic is. Can he get a ball across? Yes, he can. But Meslier is there to glove it away. It was a really good ball across, and that's not the first time he's done that, Pulisic. Leeds having real problems down their left-hand side. Pulisic is causing a few problems on the right for Chelsea in these early stages. Ewan Jackson is predicting a 4-2 win for Spurs tomorrow in the North London derby. I hope so. I hope there's goals. I hope there's entertainment in that one. As I say, I'll have that game for you here on Mundo Sporto. Anthony Peridor says there's no communication at the back for Leeds. Need a voice at the back. They're not working together. Here is Rafinha after a mistake by Christensen. Bamford receives it from Dallas. Passes over to Tyler Roberts, who can't get it under control first time. Bamford again. Roberts. Good effort from Roberts. Oh, and it's off the bar. That was a lovely effort from Tyler Roberts. On the edge of the area, put it on his right foot and tried a nice controlled, curled finish. And it looked to cause problems for Mendy and hit the bar. Mendy looked stunned by that opportunity for Leeds. And Leeds have hit both bars now, their own and Chelsea's. And a worry for Chelsea there as they cause their own problems with a mistake at the back. And Leeds will so often punish you for them. Here is Luke Ayling now for Leeds. Dallas gives the ball away to Chilwell. Mason Mount, Chilwell. As the two English lads link up. Leeds win it back though. But Chelsea have regained possession inside the Leeds half. Here is Jorginho. Havertz back to Jorginho, who is fouled by Calvin Phillips, but the referee plays the advantage, which is over as Leeds win the ball. So the Chelsea free kick is given. But yeah, I'm just seeing that Tyler Roberts effort back. Did Mendy get a glove on it in the end? Or I think it was a fingertip from Mendy to tip it onto the bar. But it was just such a lovely effort from Tyler Roberts on his right foot. A very good chance for Leeds there. And here's Rudiger. Havertz. Chilwell over to the Mount, who keeps it in well. And I think that will be a Chelsea corner. Or did it ricochet back off Mason Mount? Yeah, the referee has given a goal kick. The ball has gone back off Mason Mount and out for a goal kick. And I'm just seeing that Leeds opportunity again as Bamford fed it into Tyler Roberts. And Tyler Roberts just rolls the ball in front of him and then tries this lovely curled effort that caught Mendy off guard, certainly. But the Chelsea keeper just about does enough, gets a fingertip on it, and it comes back off the bar. But a really good effort from Tyler Roberts and a chance for Leeds. Chelsea have a throw in now on this near side. Both sides having opportunities in these early stages. Leeds having an opportunity to score an own goal as well, with comical defending at the back from them. We saw Llorente clear the ball off Patrick Bamford, and Meslier looks stunned as the ball comes back into his hands off the crossbar. Callum LFC thinks the game will end 3-2 to Chelsea. Yuvraj has joined us. I'm good, thank you, Yuvraj. It's been an interesting game. Leeds look all over the shop at the back, but they've had their chances as well. They had a goal ruled out for offside. Bamford had strayed a couple of yards offside. Roberts put the ball in the back of the net after good play from Leeds, but as I say, Bamford was just offside. And then they had that wonderful opportunity just moments ago where Tyler Roberts has had a real good strike of the ball from the edge of the area, and it has come back off the bar after it had just come off the fingertips of Mendy, who looks stunned by the Roberts effort. Pulisic on the right finds Ziyech, who looks to strike it. Calvin Phillips is there to block. Kante gives the ball away to Dallas. Here is Calvin Phillips now. He finds Rafinha on this right-hand side. He skips past Jorginho. It's too easy, that, for Rafinha. There's a little scorpion kick from Dallas. I don't think he wanted to do that. And Chelsea regained the ball. Yeah, the ball from Rafinha there was slightly behind Dallas, who had to do an unorthodox scorpion kick in the end to try and get it under control, but it ran through into the hands of Mendy. But Leeds have the ball back again. They've started this game all right. Leeds, they're causing Chelsea a few issues as Llorente has the ball at the back. Here is Luke Ayling on this near side. 1-2 with Rafinha. Back to Calvin Phillips, who plays the ball forwards to Tyler Roberts. Tyler Roberts tackled by Rudiger, and it is a Leeds throw. Prod asking my thoughts on Rafinha. I think he's an outstanding talent, and I'd love him at Liverpool. I really would. He looks so good in his first season in the Premier League. And I think he would thrive at a top club. I really do. And that's no disrespect to Leeds. But, you know, they've got a real player on their hands here. But just as I say that, he loses the ball to Kante. But Chelsea can't regain possession. Here's Alioski, who plays the ball forwards to Stuart Dallas, the Northern Ireland international. Alioski, back to Jack Harrison. Stuart Dallas. Can he whip a crossing towards Patrick Bamford? He does, but Rudiger is there to head clear. But Leeds still on the ball here. Calvin Phillips looks for Luke Ayling. Chelsea not started this game at their best, really. Leeds just enjoying a spell of possession at the moment. Here's Strauch. And Chelsea regain the ball. Here is Azpilicueta. Ziyech looks for Mount in behind, but Luke Ayling does really well there to not just intercept the pass, but get it back under control and start an attack for Leeds. Here's Rafinha on the right-hand side, who slices the ball, and Chilwell wins it back for Chelsea. But he is tackled by Stuart Dallas, who switches play over to the left-hand side, over to Jack Harrison, who is on loan from Manchester City, of course. He looks in behind for Alioski. Azpilicueta thought he'd done enough to get it clear, but he hasn't. Here's Jack Harrison, who puts a good ball across, and Bamford is coming across Rudiger, who did so well to head that away. There's Dallas again. Looks to put a cross in. Jorginho blocks, and Azpilicueta clears away Havertz. Ziyech, can Chelsea counter? Ziyech over to Havertz, who looked to just stray offside for me, but the flag stays down. Havertz tries something nice to find Pulisic on this right-hand side for Leeds. He looks to put the ball across, and it's into the hands of Meslier, and the flag does go up eventually. Dylan Embleton asking me for my prediction on the North London derby tomorrow. I'm going with 1-1 between the two sides, Arsenal and Tottenham. I will be covering that game here on Mundo Sporto. I will be live for a watch-along on that one. Liam Barry, who, as we spoke to earlier, has Bamford in his fantasy team. He was hoping Bamford got on the end of that nice-looking cross. But Rudiger, with a really excellent piece of defending to not let Bamford come across him and to head that clear. It looks like Bamford was coming in and was putting that straight in the back of the net. But here are Chelsea with the ball at the back, playing from the back as Christensen, Kante and Azpilicueta combine. And that's a nasty challenge from Tyler Roberts down the Achilles of Jorginho, who goes down looking like he's in some pain. Yeah, it's there's no malice in that. There's no intention in that from Tyler Roberts, but he has caught the Achilles and then the calf of Jorginho as he's brought him down. And he will be the first player in Kevin Friend's book for this afternoon's game. Tyler Roberts receiving that yellow card. As I say, there's no intention, there's no malice, but it is a nasty challenge from Tyler Roberts, a typical striker's challenge, if you like. NM Podcasts asking who my FPL captain is. I think it's Raheem Sterling. I think. I've had a nightmare the last couple of weeks. I've kept forgetting to change it, but today, this morning, no, I think it was yesterday actually, before the Villa game. Yeah, I did manage to change it, do a few transfers, so I'm hoping for a big week. Of course, Newcastle and Villa ended 1-1 yesterday, which didn't help me. My keeper is Emiliano Martinez, of course, so that late goal for Newcastle was horrible for me and my FPL. But here is Kante now, who finds Ziyech. Ziyech looks in behind to Chilwell. That's a lovely ball from Ziyech. Chilwell finds himself free on this left-hand side, and he tries to whip a ball across. There is Pulisic to get himself on the end of it, but it doesn't get enough on it. And in the end, here is Strujic, who plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Meslier. A lot of questions in the comments now. Elevator Kid thinks it will be 3-2 to Arsenal tomorrow in the North London derby. A lot of people thinking that game will be a goal fest. Remember, you can join me live on Mundo Sporto for that. And then straight afterwards, Craig will be live for Manchester United versus West Ham. And then podcasts. Feels my pain. Always forgetting to change his FPL as well. Yeah, I was doing really well. I'd shot up all my leagues after a pretty poor start to the season. I'd shot up to second in most of them. But then I've just kept forgetting to do it in the last few weeks. And I've still had Grealish starting for me, who's been injured, of course. So, yeah, not ideal. I've slipped back down again. So hopefully it's a good week on FPL for me. But as I say, Bamford is on my bench today. I think I've got Dallas on the bench for me as well, as I fancied a big Chelsea win in this one. Yuvraj thinks it'll be 2-1 in the North London derby. And Yuvraj, also asking if it's been a good game. It's had its moments. Some of the game has been relatively flat. Both sides playing with the ball slowly. Leeds have a goal kick now after they were just trying to build from the back, but Chelsea got a block on a clearance. But yeah, it's had its moments. Obviously, that Tyler Roberts chance, that comical moment of defending from Lorente and Leeds, where they looked a mess, and it ricocheted back off Patrick Bamford into their own crossbar and the hands of Meslier. Chelsea have looked really good on that right-hand side, causing Leeds problems through Christian Pulisic, who has got a good couple of crosses in as well, which has caused a few issues at the back for Leeds. But other than that, it has been relatively flat, Yuvraj, yes. Yuvraj asking what are the teams. Obviously, the Leeds lineup is along the bottom. For Chelsea, they've gone for Mendy in goal. Back three of Rudiger, Christensen and Azpilicueta. Chilwell and Pulisic are their wing backs. They've got Jorginho and Kante in the middle with Mount, and then Ziyech and Kai Havertz, who is leading the line for Chelsea today after his good performance against Everton on Monday night. Here are Chelsea with the ball on the right now. Here is Azpilicueta, Christensen, Jorginho, Azpilicueta, Christensen again. Chelsea with the ball at the back now. I was wondering what that comment was about from Elevator Kid, but he's clearly in the middle of a FIFA game whilst watching me. People asking questions about United and Bruno Fernandes. I think United will lose tomorrow. I really do. I don't know if you've all watched the prediction show. I think West Ham are going to beat an injury-hit United side who were lucky, I thought, to get a draw against AC Milan the other night. Of course, United led for a large part of the second half, sat back on the lead, and eventually conceded a late equaliser and came away with a point. But Milan were the better side and deserved more from that game, in my opinion. Here is Luke Ayling on the right-hand side, finds Dallas. Chelsea win the ball back on the halfway line. Kante turns on it. He looks to drive forwards and get a shot underway. But as we know, Kante in front of goal isn't his best asset, is it? And it's curled over the bar in the end. But that looked better from Chelsea. He had a bit of drive, a bit of urgency. And from a Leeds perspective, no one wanted to close Kante down there. And it does take a block off Strujic in the end. I wonder if that was heading for the top corner, actually, had it not have taken a little deflection off Strujic and gone out for a corner to Chelsea. Yuvraj agrees with me on West Ham Manchester United 2-1 to West Ham. Is Yuvraj's prediction. Here is the Chelsea corner as Mount whips it in from the right-hand side towards Azpilicueta, but it goes over every man in the area for both Leeds and Chelsea and comes to Jorginho, who's about 25 yards out. He finds Ziyech, who tries a lovely knocked ball towards Pulisic, but it goes out for a Leeds goal kick. So yeah, nearly half an hour gone in this one. It is still Leeds 0, Chelsea 0. We've had good chances for both sides. Chelsea haven't looked at their best in the opening half an hour, but Leeds haven't looked at their best defensively. They look quite open at the back. But despite saying that, they have caused a few problems for Chelsea. Tyler Roberts, especially, with a couple of great chances, hitting the bar with one of them. Chelsea have the ball back now after Leeds tried to play it out from the back. Here's Chilwell. Jorginho across to Pulisic, who has caused problems for that Leeds defence early on. Azpilicueta, Kante turns, finds Pulisic and goes running down that right flank. Pulisic, Azpilicueta, backwards to Christensen, who has been in good form, hasn't he, in these early Thomas Tuchel days. He's another one who has benefited from Tuchel coming in. Like that whole back line, really. And they look like they suit that back three at the moment, Chelsea. Chilwell. Here is Mason Mount. Mount looks across and plays a lovely clip ball towards Azpilicueta. Dallas gets his head on it, but can't do much about it. Here is Pulisic on this right-hand side for Chelsea. Looks to try and get past Alioski, but Alioski does really, really well in the end. And Jack Harrison gets it away to Stuart Dallas. Bamford has stayed down after a clash in the Leeds penalty area. And he slowly got to his feet now, but he looks in some pain, and Chilwell is going to put the ball out. A worry maybe for people with Patrick Bamford in their fantasy Premier League, and a worry for Leeds fans as Patrick Bamford looks in real pain here. I'm just watching the challenge back. He collided in the air with Rudiger, and it looks like he's landed funny. Don't know whether he's twisted his knee. But yeah, it looks like how he's landed there, Patrick Bamford, and he does look in some pain. Rodrigo is getting kitted up, so I think maybe Patrick Bamford might not be able to continue there. A worry for Leeds, a worry for Liam Barry, who has him in his fantasy team. Yuvraj thinks Leeds are going to win 2-1. Jeff Dooley says, do you think Werner will find his form again? He's been looking all right under Thomas Tuchel, and I don't know why he's not playing today, whether he's just being rested or what. But yeah, I do think he can rediscover his form. I think he's a good player, and he's still very, very young, of course. A reminder as well that Chelsea are in action in midweek. They have Atletico Madrid. I assume either me or Craig will be doing that game on this channel. Patrick Bamford is back on his feet now. He's limping off the field with the medics. I don't know if he's going to continue or not. He's not moving 100%, that's for sure. Still limping, still looking very ginger in his movement. Patrick Bamford, who is entering the pitch now with a limp jog. But I think Leeds fans and FPL users will be hoping that Bamford is okay. And I'll keep you updated on what happens with him. Azpilicueta now to Kante. Here is N'Golo Kante for Chelsea. Kai Havertz on the right. Here is Phillips, and Alioski is back to tackle Havertz well. Pulisic, Kante. Over to the right-hand side where Havertz is. Kante. Rudiger is screaming for it in the centre, but Kante goes to Chilwell instead. Chilwell hits it, and it's just wide. Chilwell thinks it took a deflection on the way through, but that's better from Chelsea. Kante finds Chilwell, and yeah, it looks like a corner to me. Looks like Luke Ayling has got the last touch on that to help it go behind, and it will be a Chelsea corner. Mount will take the corner from the left-hand side for Chelsea. They've had a couple already, but from that right-hand side, Mount whips an in-swinger in, headed away by Tyler Roberts. Only as far as Azpilicueta, though, who finds Jorginho. Jorginho to Pulisic, really good from Stuart Dallas to win it back there for Leeds. and he finds the ball over the top towards Tyler Roberts, who can't get it under control, and it's N'Golo Kante for Chelsea on the halfway line. Ziyech to Jorginho. Which side will it be that breaks the deadlock here at Leeds? And the ball runs through into the hands of Alioski. And yeah, the pitch at Ellen Road is looking a lot better than it was for a large part of the season, that's for sure. It was a horrible playing field. It looked in urgent need of some work, but it does look a lot better in recent weeks. As Luke Ayling has the ball on the right-hand side, pumps it forwards, but Rudiger is there for Chelsea, and Christensen now. Jorginho, Patrick Bamford is back down, and I think he won't be able to continue today, and that's a worry for Leeds and a worry for people who use FPL. Liam Barry, disappointed for you, mate. You jinxed him when you said that he will have a good game because you have him in your FPL, but I'm glad I benched him this week. He goes off the field, and it's going to be Rodrigo who comes on for Leeds. So the first change of the day comes before the 35th minute, and it's a forced one. Patrick Bamford, Leeds' leading goal scorer, is forced off with an injury, and Rodrigo, who has not long come back from an injury himself, the Spaniard, replaces Patrick Bamford. The ball's back to Mendy now as the game continues. Rudiger plays the ball forwards, but there is Calvin Phillips, and that's an interesting pass. Not a very good one from Calvin Phillips, and Llorente did really well to keep the ball for Leeds there, and he's fouled by Kai Havertz, and Leeds get the free kick for that. Let's have a look. Few people disappointed in the Bamford injury. I assume that is for FPL reasons. Comment here from Will about West Ham, thinking, I thought West Ham would have dropped off by now, but they are still playing really good football and getting results. Only worry is if the likes of Antonio gets injured. Yeah, they play nice stuff at West Ham. You know, it works for them. They've got a defence that is very strong and robust. But there's an issue before you even get to the defence, and that is Souček and Rice, who are both very good players as well. So yeah, Moyes has found a system that works for West Ham. They look very well drilled, and they keep picking up points, and I fancy them against Manchester United tomorrow, who, as I say, have been hit by injuries. Here's Havertz now for Chelsea, who finds Mason Mount on this near side. Mason Mount over the top towards Ziyech. Ziyech is tackled by Phillips, and it will be a Chelsea corner again on this right-hand side. So yeah, it was a beautiful pass from Mason Mount over the top of Calvin Phillips to Ziyech, and Calvin Phillips did really well to recover actually and to tackle Ziyech and make sure it was a corner for Chelsea rather than a certain chance. So here we go, a Chelsea corner again from the right-hand side. Mason Mount will take it. There's a big queue of players in the area for Chelsea looking to get on the end of this. The ball in towards Christensen and then Rudiger. And it just bounces off Rudiger's foot in the end and goes into the hands of the young Leeds goalkeeper, Meslier, as he throws it out quickly to Stuart Dallas, who's on this right-hand side, and Rafinha looks to thread a pass through the Chelsea defence and towards Rodrigo, who has just come off the bench, replacing the injured Patrick Bamford, but he runs through to Mendy in goal for Chelsea. And he plays it out short to Rudiger over to the left-hand side where Chilwell is. Chilwell strikes the ball forwards and it's headed out by Llorente for a Chelsea throw on this left-hand side on the halfway line. The ball into the box, and Christensen tries to flick it on at the near post, but it's slightly too high for him, and then it just hits off the feet of Rudiger and runs into the hands of Meslier. But a chance for Chelsea again. Chilwell to Jorginho. Can they create something here, Chelsea? What can they do? Jorginho bursts forwards, finds Christian Pulisic. Pulisic backwards to Azpilicueta. Kante. Over to Rudiger. Kante again. There's been a few loose passes from Chelsea today. Here's Mason Mount, who strikes it from deep, and Meslier saves it well, but it was a tough save for Meslier to make. He struck the ball well there, Mason Mount, and it bounced just in front of the goalkeeper and caused him a few problems, but he did well to react after the initial save, Meslier, and make sure that no Chelsea player could get on the end of the rebound. Here is Strujic. Alioski plays a 1-2 with Tyler Roberts and then plays the ball behind Stuart Dallas. And Leeds have done that a few times today. They can get that. Their pass is a bit better. They would cause Chelsea a few issues at the back there. Here's Mason Mount. Finds Ziyech, whose first touch is a bit of a poor one, but he manages to get it under control in the end. Ziyech, Jorginho, Ziyech, Christensen roaming forwards with the ball for Chelsea now and looks in behind the Leeds defence, looks in behind Alioski for Pulisic, but Alioski does well, slides the ball out for a Chelsea throw-in. Sean saying this is a very boring game. It really is. It's had a few moments of energy. There was obviously that minute spell where Chelsea had a really good opportunity through Kai Havertz at one end, then Leeds went at the other end and had a goal ruled out because Patrick Bamford was offside. I feel like the Bamford injury has killed proceedings here a tiny bit and killed the energy of the game. Tyler Roberts had that really good opportunity, of course, where he thundered a curled effort off the crossbar. Leeds, just before that, caused their own problems at the back, didn't they, as Llorente cleared it off Patrick Bamford and off their own bar in the end. So there has been chances, but the majority of the game has been rather flat, and it's still 0-0 between Leeds and Chelsea 5 minutes before half-time. Remember to get your questions in at the break and I will answer them for you. It could be on anything. I'll recap the game first of all. I'll send a quick clip on the screen about our sponsors, One Football, and then I'll get straight into your questions at half-time. MCFC fan 10 says it's a terrible game, isn't it? Yep. It's not the best. I was expecting a really open affair with chances for both sides, you know, an end-to-end game, but it's been quite flat, and there has been chances for either side, but not chances in abundance. Here is Kante now for Chelsea, who threads it through to Kai Havertz. Alioski does well for Leeds there, but Ziyech somehow wins it back for Chelsea in a rather unorthodox way, and Alioski in the end gives away a foul, and it will be a Chelsea free kick on this right-hand side. Yuvraj pointing out that people need to subscribe to Mundo Sporto and make sure you're liking and sharing this video. There's not too many comments today, so please get sharing this on social media. It's not the best game, but it can be made better by more of you like in the comments. And as I say, I've got over 1.5 goals in this one, so hopefully it can get better in the second half. Not long now before the break, 3 or 4 minutes. Plus stoppage time, which might be a few minutes after that Patrick Bamford injury. But here is Mason Mount, who will take the free kick. It's about 30 yards out on the right-hand side. Leeds have opted for a one-man wall just outside the area. And Mason Mount does whip the ball in, but Meslier comes out and punches it. Christensen has it for Chelsea on the edge of the area. Plays a 1-2 with Chilwell, and Chilwell will look to whip it in from the left now. He does, but Meslier does really well to get up and catch that. And he's rolled it out quickly to Stuart Dallas. That's been a thing that Leeds have done a few times today. As soon as they win it back, as soon as Meslier gets it back in between the sticks for Leeds, he tries to get them going really quickly. Tries to distribute the ball quickly and get Leeds going on a counter-attack. But Leeds lose the ball in their own half again, but Calvin Phillips does well to regain possession for the Yorkshire side. And Meslier looks for Luke Hayden on this right-hand side, but can't quite find him. Here is Ben Chilwell. Rafi Kalakshian says, I hope Chelsea wins 3-1. I've got Chelsea down to win today. I put 3-1. But, you know, I think it'll be a narrow win, looking at how this game has started. Here's Alioski for Leeds. Alioski over to Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison looks to whip a ball in, but feints it and then tries again. It's blocked by Kante, and it will be a corner for Leeds, their first of the game. Mark Goatbridge asking where Craig is. Craig is probably in bed, mate. He will Right, I'm back. Sorry, my Wi-Fi went then. Leeds put the corner in. He goes straight over and out for a throw. But Leeds still have the ball in the Chelsea half. My Wi-Fi is summing up this game. Absolutely shite. So apologies for that slight issue there. Leeds have the ball on the right-hand side, I hope. Everything's fine for you lot now. As Dallas whips the ball in, Rudiger gets it away. And Leeds, since Patrick Bamford has gone off, they don't have as much of a threat in the air. And you've seen a few times they've tried to whip a cross in as they usually would with Bamford in there, but they're fainted on it. Rodrigo, of course, being the Bamford replacement, he's come on for him. He's not quite as good in the air as Patrick Bamford. As Chelsea look to break now, Ziyech on the right-hand side after receiving the ball from N'Golo Kante. He looks over the top towards Kai Havertz, who hits it first time with his right foot, but it's saved by Meslier. Ethan Hutchinson thinks it'll be 1-0 to Leeds at the end of the game. What do I think of the first half so far, says Addison. It's not been great. It's not been great at all. As I say, my Wi-Fi has summed the game up where it cuts out there. It's been absolutely crap, to be honest with you. Quite a flat game. But with that being said, there has been a couple of good chances for either side. Leeds have hit both bars. One after a comical piece of defending at the back from them where Llorente has cleared it off his own man and into their own crossbar. And then one, a lovely strike by Tyler Roberts that completely caught Mendy out. Mendy managed to just get a fingertip save on it in the end, though, and tip it onto the bar. And that is the halftime whistle. Halftime, it is Leeds 0, Chelsea 0. It's not been the most riveting of games at Elland Road, but 45 minutes gone. The first half is over. For Leeds, they've had Patrick Bamford go off injured after picking up an injury from an awkward landing. And for Chelsea, Kai Havertz has had an opportunity from close range. Mason Mount had a strike from distance that caused Meslier a few issues. But Leeds have had the best opportunity of the game, really. They had the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out for offside as Patrick Bamford strayed a couple of yards off. But Tyler Roberts is the man who curled an effort off the crossbar from 18 yards out. And that is undoubtedly the best chance of that first half. Keep your questions coming in. I'll answer as many of them as I can ahead of the second half. But before we get into that, here is just a reminder of our sponsors today, OneFootball. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is the only football app you need to follow thousands of teams, hundreds of leagues and competitions worldwide. It is packed with all the latest news, videos, fixtures, scores, stats, and key dates. And it personalizes the content that you want. It allows you to put your favorite team in, your favorite leagues, the fixtures you want to follow. It is an incredible app that I use, all my friends use, my family use it, everyone I know uses OneFootball. And if you're not using it yet, you need to go and download it. Well, there we have it. OneFootball, the sponsors for today. Make sure you check them out. This video wouldn't happen without them. So please do go and check them out. But halftime, still 0-0 in this game. It's not been the game that I was hoping it would be. Remember, let me just let you know what is coming from Anfield Agenda and Mundo Sporto in the next few days. So I will be recording a preview for Liverpool Wolves shortly after this game with Leon from Boyle Sports. That'll be going on Anfield Agenda. Then tomorrow I will be back for the North London Derby. I'll be live from 4:15 for that one. Hopefully it is a better game than this one. That is currently half-time here and 0-0 between Leeds and Chelsea if you've just joined me. And then after I have done the North London Derby, Craig will be live immediately after for Manchester United versus West Ham. Keep your predictions coming in for what you think for both of those two games. And hopefully, if you're joining me for this stream, you'll be back tomorrow for the North London Derby. Let me have a look into the comments now. Dustin McGee says, am I taking over from Craig at Anfield Agenda? No, Craig is still doing Anfield Agenda. He's still doing Mundo Sporto. I am just helping him and Connor with it, and have been for the last couple of months. Let's have a look. Well done, Jack, for staying awake, says Anthony Davis. Yep. Yeah, that's how this game is going. It's been pretty poor. You know, I've dragged myself up out of bed early for this one. But yeah, it's not been the best of games. Chelsea haven't been at their best in these early stages. But you know, Leeds have looked pretty decent at times. They do look poor at the back though. But going forwards, they've caused Chelsea a few issues too. And hopefully we can have an early goal in this second half, and it brings the game into life a bit. People asking me, have I heard KSI's new song? I have. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. Anything else? When are Liverpool playing to someone? We're on Monday against Wolves. Going to be a tough game that on Monday night between us and Wolves. Eddie Hutchinson thinks it'll be 1-0 to Leeds at the end of the game. Let's have a look. Any more comments here? JC Footy saying, who's the next manager to be sacked or leave? Oh, that's an interesting one. It's really weird, the situation with Chris Wilder. I've seen a couple of things saying he's not been, he's not been sacked, and they're trying to get him to have a different role at Sheffield United, which is interesting. But it looks like he's gone, and for me, it'll be Eddie Howe or Frank Lampard that ends up getting that job. Who do I think will be next to leave? I think it'll be Steve Bruce. That is my answer. I think Newcastle have had a disappointing season this year. They're in a relegation battle. And for me, I can see, I know he picked up a point yesterday, but I think he will be gone next before the end of the season. That is my thoughts on that one. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. If Liverpool didn't exist, who would be the team you would support? A very weird question. I honestly don't know. My granddad's a big Birmingham City fan, so it could have been them. But I don't really have many allegiances to other teams. My housemate's a Donny fan, so I often go to Doncaster Rovers games. But yeah, I don't really know the answer to that question, really. Let me have a look. People talking about Amad Diallo. Yeah, I obviously run another channel as well called The Academy. And we look at all academy players and young players under 23. And I looked at Amad Diallo, and there's a video coming out very soon. I was impressed with him the other night against Milan. It was a very, very good finish from him when he came off the bench to replace Martial at half time. He didn't look amazing in that second half, but there was moments of magic from him, and particularly the goal. But what impressed me from Amad Diallo was when he came into Manchester United and played that first under-23s game against Liverpool. So I watched that. He scored 2 on that day. He scored a lovely Panenka penalty. But he was involved in many goals that day. Manchester United scored 6 past us. Joe Gill was on fire for United too. But Amad Diallo does look like a real talent. And, you know, you expect that, though, with the amount of money that Manchester United paid for him. But he does look like a very good young talent. Eddie Hutchinson totally agrees with me. Will says Amad looks absolutely class. Yes, he does. Dylan Popel has joined us. He says, all right, mate, I hope you are all right. Yes, I'm very good, thank you. I'm just hoping for a better second half because I am struggling to keep my eyes open here. And I'm sure a lot of you lots are probably the same. Adam Kelly says Amad is better than Salah and Mane. No, he does look like a good young talent, though, as I say. Any more questions here? Let me have a look. JC Footy saying, thank you for answering my question. Thank you very much, mate. There's no worries on that one. Any more? For Liverpool, what backup number 9 would you prefer, Suarez or Aguero? This is a very weird question. They're both obviously aging strikers. I would probably right now prefer Suarez for nostalgia reasons, and because, you know, Aguero's had quite a few injury problems in the last few years. Well, the last couple of years, and Suarez is still banging them in for Atletico Madrid. So for me, Luis Suarez. Robbie Murphy has just subbed and liked. Thank you very much, Robbie. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm just hoping for a better second half. This hasn't been too great. Not been the most riveting of games. But, thank you very much for the subscription. I don't know if many of you joined me the other night. I did Porto Juventus, and what a game that was. It was so different to now. I was able to talk about more. There was a lot more people in the comments, but it was a lot better game. And I was on the edge of my seat throughout it. If you want to check the highlights out for that, go over and check them out after this game. Gavin Moran says, who do you think will go up? I think that's meant to, is that from the Championship? Let me know, Gavin, whether that's coming up from the Championship. Is that what you mean by that? Dr. Ammar asking me predictions for Manchester United versus West Ham. I've backed West Ham. I think 2-1 West Ham. My prediction. Matthew Larney, another interesting question. Who will win the league the most times in the next 10 years? Probably Man City, because of Guardiola, because of the money they've got. I think you have to back them. Tega Akpom says you should link this account to Anfield Agenda to get more viewers. I'll speak to Craig and Connor about that. But yeah, this is an account that Craig and Connor only started in December, and to have hit 15k already is a big achievement for us. So thank you very much. Remember to keep sharing all these streams. We do watch-alongs as often as we can. Remember, I'm back tomorrow for the North London Derby. Keep sharing the streams. Keep making sure you're subscribed and your friends are subscribed. And we'll hopefully be 100k in no time. And remember as well, if you're not subscribed to Anfield Agenda, we're really trying to push that to 100k. Currently on 80k. So if you could push us to 100k, if you can make sure you're subscribed to that, that would be great. Get Craig and Connor that diamond play button. That would be brilliant if we could get 100k on Anfield Agenda before the end of the season. FX Gumi saying, do I want Rafinha? Simple answer, yes. Gavin Moran says, yes, the Championship. An interesting one. I want Brentford up because I like them. I think Brentford are a very good side. I like their recruitment. They lose an awful lot of their good talent, as we saw at the end of last season. Lost Ben Rama, lost Ollie Watkins when they missed out on promotion to the Premier League. But they've rebuilt wonderfully, and they've bought Ivan Toney, who's the top scorer in the Championship, a very good player. Ivan Toney, 6'4", but he's got a bit of everything. And I would like to see them come up. I think Norwich are probably likely to come up. Although I have an issue with Norwich. Firstly, that they're a bit weird down there, aren't they, in Norwich? And secondly, they're just there, aren't they? They always come up from the Championship to the Premier League, and then they go straight back down. It's inevitable. They come up, they go straight down, and then at the minute, they've got some very good talent there in the Championship. Emi Buendia, who I'm a big fan of. Max Aarons, who was denied a move to Barcelona in the summer. I don't know how they've kept hold of him. Todd Cantwell as well, who I thought more Premier League clubs would be after. Timu Pukki too. But yeah, it's inevitable. They'll come back up and go straight back down. And then I think Watford will come up too. But there is some very good sides in the Championship at the moment. Swansea have looked good. That loan signing of Conor Hourihane has worked for them, and they've looked good all season. They look like a strong team under Graham Cooper. And yeah, there's a few more. Reading have looked hit and miss. So yeah, let me know what you lot think about that, and who should come up from the Championship, or who you think will come up from the Championship, should I say rather. Yuvraj is already subscribed. Thank you very much. I'm just going to leave this on the screen from Eliza John. Thank you very much, Eliza, for that one. MCFC fan 10 trying to throw me off with that comment, but I'm not stupid, mate. Let's have a look. George YNWA says he wants to see Watford, Bournemouth and Norwich come up. So all the teams that went down last season, he wants to see up. I can't see Bournemouth going up. I don't think they've had the strongest of seasons, but they've got a new manager now, of course. So who knows? MCFC fan 10. Yeah, tried to throw me off there, but I'm not going to fall for it that easy. Don't you worry, mate. I have fallen for names in the past, though, but no, I'm not going to I'm not going to fall for that one. So don't worry about that. Eddie Hutchinson says it's a tough league to get out of. It really is. It really, really is. And we saw that with Leeds, who are playing in the Premier League now. Of course, they went down to the Championship and they were stuck there for a number of years. Very tough for them to get out. They tried numerous things, numerous managers, but eventually it was Marcelo Bielsa who went to Leeds and turned them around, and they look like they're back where they belong now in the Premier League, and they look like they're going to stay there. Let's have a look. Eliza John saying, I hope Phillips can produce his Champions League form in the Prem. He's never had a bad game in a Liverpool shirt, mate. He's better than Baresi. He's better than Maguire. He's just world class, isn't he? Best centre back in the world. No, I'm obviously joking, but he doesn't really put a foot wrong for Liverpool. And he looked really, really good in the Champions League the other night. It was my man of the match. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a completely different game against Wolves on Monday. But hopefully he can keep that form going into that game and produce another brilliant performance. Addison Telemani says, Nat Phillips for the Euros. Yeah, get him in the squad. To be fair, Southgate would probably love him. He's so Sunday League, isn't he? He's so Sunday League. But he's looked good. And he's so good in the air, Nat Phillips. So been a big fan of him so far. Aaron Charler saying, why am I avoiding this question? I can't see it. Where is his question? When do you think United can become City and Liverpool levels in terms of challenging titles? Honest answer, when they get a proper manager in. I can't see United winning anything under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I can't. So for me, United will start challenging with Liverpool and City when you replace Solskjaer and bring a better manager in. Just my opinion. Yuvraj saying, my prediction is 2-0 to Chelsea and my dad says 2-1 to Leeds. We are having a bet. What's on the line there then, Yuvraj? Because with how the game's gone so far, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just one goal in this one. It's not been the best at all, to be honest with you. But fingers crossed for a better second half. I said 3-1 ahead of this one, but I don't think it will be. Let's have a look. Eliza John saying Phillips is so brave. Yeah, he is. He's a warrior, isn't he? So good in the air. Flight takes flight, says Werner hat-trick off the bench. Interesting. I can't see him getting a hat-trick. But, with this Leeds defence that has been quite shaky, who knows? But I can see the Chelsea players are coming back out the tunnel here at Ellen Road, now ready for the second half. And I'm hoping for an early goal in the second half. We need something to bring this game to life. It wasn't the most exhilarating opening 45 minutes here at Ellen Road. Any more comments from you lot? Tega Akpome saying, I would like Robbo to be rested for Monday. He's been used too much. What do you reckon? An interesting one. I wouldn't like him to be rested because, I think this game is a game that we must win. I don't think we can afford to slip up again in the Premier League this season. So, I would like to see Robbo start, but maybe come off with 20 minutes or so to go when hopefully we are comfortably leading the game by that point. So we'll see. Eliza John 5 says, a good shout. United need a world-class manager. They do. We have so many in the Premier League. Chelsea have now got one in. Obviously, Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp are the best two in the world. So for me, United need a better manager, and they've got a really good squad. United, they've got the squad for it. They just need a better manager, in my opinion. And we're underway for the second half. Let me just start the clock. There we go. It is slightly behind the clock. It's about 10 seconds or so behind. But we are underway, and Leeds have a throw deep in their own half. But the game started flat in the early stages of the first half. Then there was a couple of big chances at either end for each side. But hopefully we are in for a better second half here. Pulisic looks in behind for Ziyech. Leeds win it back, and there is Alioski who goes forwards to Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas finds Rodrigo. Sorry, it's Rafinha on this right-hand side for Leeds. Rafinha Looks to skip past Rudiger, who's strong and tackles well, and Chilwell gets away. Looks a really good chance for Leeds there. Eddie Hutchinson saying Chelsea have got another £50 million bench warmer in Timo Werner. I think he's just been rested today. Remember, it's a big week for Chelsea. They've got Atletico Madrid in midweek. They lead 1-0 from the first leg, but it's going to be a difficult task for them in the second leg. They won't have Mason Mount in that one, of course, who has been a key man for Chelsea in recent weeks under Thomas Tuchel. He's turning into a very good young player. Dr. Amnar with a comment about what we were talking about at half-time in terms of who will come up from the Championship. He thinks Watford, Norwich and Brentford. What was the Brentford score? I think it's still ongoing, that game. I think Brentford were the early kickoff, were they not? Oh no, they played last night, didn't they, against Blackburn? What was the score in the end? Did it finish 1-0? Am I right there? I think it did. Tega Akpom says, we are all Leeds today, aren't we? Oh, here's Havertz for Chelsea. Havertz strikes it, but blazes over the bar. That was poor from Havertz. He's got to do better there. And that chance just came from nowhere, really. Azpilicueta burst forwards and found Havertz. But Havertz just drills a shot in the end, and it's saved by Meslier and over the bar. Initially, I thought it had just gone straight over the bar, but it does get a big glove from Meslier, and it will be a Chelsea corner. The ball whipped in from Mason Mount in towards Havertz, but it runs over the German international's head and will be a Leeds throw-in. Yeah, that's happened a few times from Mount today. He's overhit the corners and it's gone over everyone in the box. And it will be a Leeds throw right by their own corner flag. And Alioski blasts the ball forwards in the end and it goes out for a Chelsea throw. Excuse me. Jay Palmer asking what I think of the Mbappe rumours. I think they're ridiculous when we're in a position where we might not even be getting Champions League football next season. I think we should park these rumours until the end of the season when we know that we'll be playing Champions League football next season, because he ain't going to come to us without Champions League football. It's as simple as that. Elijah John confirming that Brentford beat Blackburn yesterday by a 1-0. Harvey Elliott's Blackburn, of course. The ball over the top towards Tyler Roberts. And this chance looks good for Leeds. Can he find Rafinha? He goes alone and drills a shot that was weak. We saw a really good effort from Tyler Roberts in the first half, didn't we? Where he struck the ball well and hit the crossbar, caused problems for Mendy in between the sticks for Chelsea. But that one was a weak and tame attempt, and easy for Mendy in the end. The ball forwards from Mendy, headed by Calvin Phillips as Leeds look to win it back. Strujic heads forwards and can't find a Leeds man. Here's Kante for Chelsea. Mason Mount. Can he be the man to burst this game into life? Well, Kevin Friend decides he wants to get in on the action and brings the ball under control. So the game will now be stopped. He did trap that really well between both feet, Kevin Friend, and he's in hysterics on the pitch. But obviously that new rule where the game is stopped because possession changed hands and there is a drop ball. But Chelsea can't create anything from it and is it straight into the hands of Meslier. Elevator Kid says Leeds are playing better. Yeah, they're all right. They do look shaky at the back, but going forwards, they're causing Chelsea a few issues. And remember, this Chelsea side have looked strong and resilient under Thomas Tuchel defensively. So, you know, some good signs from Leeds. But if I was a Leeds fan, that defence would worry me loads. You know, they remind me of Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers, that 13-14 season. Their defence is just all over the shop. Really is. Yuvraj says Leeds interested. You know, I do think they had that better chance in the first half and they've won the ball high up the pitch here. Luke Ayling stealing it off Jorginho and they're looking behind, but it's intercepted well in the end by Azpilicueta. I apologise for the lag there. But Azpilicueta finds Kante, who comes over to this right-hand side where Christian Pulisic is. There's Ziyech, Pulisic, Jorginho. Pulisic, who's roaming forwards with the ball now, and now he finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount to Ziyech, whose first touch is off again, but his second touch brings it back down under control. Remember as well, Leeds had a big loss in the first half. Patrick Bamford limped off injured and was replaced by Rodrigo after 35 minutes. Chelsea with the ball on the right-hand side now. Christian Pulisic again, who falls to the ground, and then Alioski falls over him. But Kevin Friend gives the free kick in the way of Leeds in the end, much to the anger of the American Christian Pulisic. It's an interesting one. Maybe a foul the other way, to be honest with you. It looked like Alioski was grabbing the hand of Pulisic as the American ran across him towards the ball. And that's a long ball forwards, and it's won by the header of Tyler Roberts. But Chelsea win it back, and Jorginho finds Kante. Elijah John saying Kante has a great engine, excellent player. Yeah, he is a quality player. He's had a couple of injury problems the last few. Oh, Chilwell across goal, and that cross caused a few problems for Meslier. It was a cross turn shot, really. And Meslier didn't look comfortable with dealing with it at all. Here's Mason Mount on the right-hand side. He finds Ziyech, who's about 25 yards out. He whips a lovely cross in, and there's Kai Havertz. But the header takes the pace off the ball, and it's comfortable for Meslier in the end. Havertz hasn't been great in front of goal today. But Chelsea dispossessed Leeds in their own half. Here's Mason Mount, who looks to thread a pass in behind towards Kante. Kante squares it towards Kai Havertz. But it's excellent defending by Llorente in the end. And Rudiger wins it back for Chelsea high up the pitch again. Foot in from Jack Harrison, who tries to clear, but Kante's there. Rudiger now, high up the pitch for Chelsea. Kante, can he put a cross in? He goes backwards towards Ziyech instead, who, once again, not a very convincing first touch, but gets it under control with his next couple of touches. But his pass towards Ben Chilwell isn't good enough and goes out for a Leeds goal kick. But yeah, a couple of chances there for Chelsea. I don't think it'll be long before we see Timo Werner. Kai Havertz hasn't been great in front of goal today. And to be fair, Luke Ayling did really, really well there. But this is a good opportunity as well when Chilwell put a really dangerous ball in. It caused Meslier a few problems, but there just wasn't enough people in the middle for Chelsea. Here is Llorente for Leeds as they look to play from the back. Calvin Phillips. Meslier, Llorente again. Llorente across to Strujic. Elijah John says, you just get the feeling that a Chelsea goal is coming. I feel like if they had Werner or Giroud on, they may have scored from one of those efforts as Tyler Roberts skips past Christensen. Can he get a ball in? He does. Towards Rodrigo, who heads it down. Rafinha with a good turn. What a save, Mendy. A really good, important save from the Chelsea goalkeeper. A good chance for Leeds. Tyler Roberts did so well for them on this left-hand side here and put a good ball across. Then Rodrigo won the header and squared it to Rafinha, who does really well to turn Azpilicueta and get a shot off. And Rafinha's shot is deflected on its way towards the Chelsea goal. And Mendy does really well to react and get a glove to it. The corner comes in. It's headed behind by Pulisic. Another Leeds corner. Clown says, hello, mate. How are you? I'm good. Thank you, mate. Thank you for joining us for this one. It hasn't been the greatest of games here at Ellen Road. 55 minutes gone. Rafinha whips the ball in. Kante heads away. It comes down to Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips to Tyler Roberts, who has looked good for Leeds today. Tyler Roberts whips a ball in, and it goes straight out for a Chelsea goal kick. MCFC fan 10 saying that that comment before may have jinxed Chelsea, who had their efforts in front of goal in the last 5 minutes, but Leeds have come up the other end and had a good couple of chances themselves. Now, that Rafinha effort was a really good chance for them, but a good save from Mendy. An instinctive, reactive glove. Let's have a look. Pulisic is doing okay, says Sharon. Yeah, he looked Chelsea's biggest threat in the first half, was causing problems for Leeds down that right-hand side for Chelsea. Here are Leeds with the ball now. Calvin Phillips looks for Luke Ayling, but Chilwell wins it back and wins the throw for Chelsea. He will take the throw on the left-hand side for the Blues. Jorginho, Chilwell, Rudiger. Rudiger shrugs off the challenge from Rodrigo and finds Christensen, who roams forwards with the ball for Chelsea. Finds Pulisic on the halfway line. Pulisic goes backwards towards Jorginho. Jorginho to Rudiger now. Rudiger, it's his turn to roam forwards with the ball, the big German defender. Here is Mason Mount. Mason Mount across to Kante. Kante to Kai Havertz. Ziyech. Azpilicueta to Havertz, who holds the ball up well. Pulisic. Kante. Havertz. Chilwell. Hutchinson. Rudiger. Mason Mount. Good first touch there. And plays a 1-2 with Chilwell. Mason Mount. Was he fouled by Luke Ayling? The referee says so. Excuse me. Be a Chelsea free kick. And what can they cause from here? Can they create a real opening here? This game needs a goal. And they take it quickly. Mount to Chilwell. Chilwell's ball to Ziyech isn't great. And Ziyech is flat-footed. Leeds win it back. Llorente. Luke Ayling pumps the ball forwards over to this left-hand side where Rafinha is. It's one in the air by the head of Azpilicueta, who gets it under control and finds Jorginho. Havertz. Joshua Pilling saying, is Craig on Fulham versus City? I don't think so, mate. I think he's just doing the United game tomorrow. But I'll let you know if I find out. Yuvraj saying this game needs a goal. It really does. It needs something. It's not been the greatest of opening hours in this one. And I thought it would be a goal fest. The ball's put in behind towards Chilwell. Ben Chilwell finds Kante. N'Golo Kante towards Mason Mount. Rudiger high up the pitch for Chelsea here. He's on the ball about 25 yards out. Mason Mount, can he get a shot in the way? Drills a pass towards Pulisic, who's inside the Leeds area. He puts it on his right foot and strikes the ball goalwards, but Meslier makes a really good save. Mason Mount over to this right-hand side where Pulisic is. Pulisic dancing, but couldn't get enough power in the shot in the end. And that's a good ball across towards Rafinha, but Azpilicueta recovers well and gets a good challenge in. Stuart Dallas wins the free kick for Leeds. Let's have a look into the comments, see what's going on here. Jack, do you think the midfield will be Thiago, Keita, Fabinho versus Wolves? I'd love to see it. I would love to see that midfield, but I don't think so. No. I think Curtis Jones will probably be back in there. Genie as well, maybe. I don't know. Trying to focus on this game for now, and hopefully there's a goal coming here from this Leeds free kick as Rafinha whips the ball across, and Rudiger does really, really well to get a good header on that ball and pull it out for a Leeds corner. He's came to the rescue for Chelsea on a couple of occasions this afternoon. I remember in the first half, he got just in front of Patrick Bamford to head behind for a corner. If Patrick Bamford had got on the end of it, it would have been almost a certain goal for Leeds. But Rudiger defended well then, and he's defended well on this one too. Akabani says, I hope it stays the same here. My Aka depends on it. Back in a draw, fair enough. Ball whipped in, headed away. There's Alioski, blocked by Kante, and cleared away by the Frenchman. Here is Stuart Dallas now on the halfway line, who goes backwards towards the young Leeds goalkeeper, Meslier. Meslier pumps the ball up the pitch, but Azpilicueta is there with the header. And then it's forwards by Jack Harrison towards Rafinha, who can't get it under control. And now it's Chelsea's turn to break. Jorginho roaming forwards with the ball. Here is Mason Mount, who looks for Chilwell. Was he just straying offside there? The flag's up. Yep, he was. He did look a good couple of yards off to me there, Chilwell. I think he wanted the ball a bit sooner from Mason Mount. Yeah, he's a good couple of yards offside there. And the linesman's got that spot on. Luke Ayling now, the latest Leeds man to go down with an injury. Looks like a back problem for him, but he's back to his feet. Moving a bit gingerly though. Remember, Leeds lost Patrick Bamford in the first half to injury. Easy Scotty 99 saying, would you sign Dallas from Leeds for Liverpool, Jack? No, I wouldn't. I think he's a decent player. He's good for my FPL, but I wouldn't sign him for Liverpool, no. Kante with the ball after Alioski had given it away. Here's Kai Havertz. Mount to Chilwell. Can he get a shot underway? He looked off balance and he couldn't quite get a good shot away there. But he's done a couple of them runs on the left-hand side today for Chelsea. And yeah, he's falling over as he tries to strike that ball and ends up hitting it with the outside of his left foot in the end, and he's completely got that wrong. A Liverpool fan says, if we do get Europe, will any players leave, Jack? What do you mean by Europe? Do you mean Europa? Do you mean Champions League? You know, it does worry me that a few of the players may want to go if we don't have Champions League football next season. But hopefully we do. Hopefully we can win number 7 in Istanbul and finish strongly in the Premier League. Top 4 looks unlikely, though. It does. And as MCFC fan 10 here says, miracles can happen, though. And it will be a miracle for Liverpool to finish in the top 4. Yuvraj asking when my next watch-along is after this. My next watch-along will be the North London derby tomorrow. I'll be back for that one. And fingers crossed, it is a much better game. This one has been rather dull, rather boring, rather flat, as you've probably been able to tell from this stream. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. I got out of bed early for this. But there is a good tackle from Pulisic, and Chelsea win the ball high up the pitch again. Kante, Ziyech to Pulisic, who puts it on his left foot, gets a shot underway. Brits-Jujic makes a good block, and then it goes out for a Chelsea throw, but there is the flag up, and I think an offside has been given here. But Leeds are readying another substitution. It looks like Costa will be coming on for them. I wonder who he'll replace. The board's up. It's number 22. I think that's Jack Harrison. Yeah, it is Jack Harrison who makes his way off, and Helder Costa is the man who comes on. Easy Scotty 99 saying, what game is Craig doing tomorrow? He is doing the Manchester United West Ham game just after the North London derby. So I'll be on Mundo Sporto for the North London derby, and then Craig will do Manchester United West Ham. As Leeds have the ball at the back now, and it's found Stuart Dallas, who's dispossessed by Kante on the halfway line for Chelsea, and Chelsea will go again. Jorginho, Havertz with a little flick. Luke Ayling is fouled and wins the free kick for Leeds in the end. MCFC fan 10 thinks I'm a bit overconfident with that. Well, a guy can hope, can't he? I think top 4 is very unlikely, but as you said, mate, miracles can happen. And then as for the Champions League, I don't think we will win the Champions League personally, but you know, you just can't rule us out in Europe. You really can't. So we'll see what happens with that. And I think the draw, it will be very important. Chelsea have a free kick after a high foot from Rafinha there. I think he's caught the face of Christensen with that high boot. No, he didn't quite catch him, but it was a high boot. It was slightly dangerous from Rafinha. As Mendy has the ball at the back for Chelsea now. He goes short to Christensen. Mount does really well to shrug off Luke Ayling and put a ball in behind towards Havertz, but there's a bit too much power on that ball in behind and it runs too far. I do feel like Chelsea need a change. The introduction of Timo Werner might be a good option for Chelsea now. Here's Helder Costa on the right-hand side for Leeds. Can Leeds break the deadlock here? He skips past Chilwell and does so well doing so. Roberts then puts the ball into the box. It's fallen kindly to Rafinha, who can't quite get the ball under control, but wins, leads the corner. Good defending there from Christian Pulisic in the end to deny Rafinha. Really good work on the right-hand side, and Tyler Roberts eventually puts a cross in. It bobbles off a couple of Chelsea players and falls to Rafinha, who wasn't expecting it. But it will be Rafinha who takes the corner, whipped in towards Tyler Roberts. It's the small N'Golo Kante who heads away in the end. Here is Stuart Dallas on the right-hand side for Leeds. He whips a ball over the top towards Helder Costa. Chilwell will deal with that quite easily, you think. And yep, he lets it run for a Chelsea goal kick. Let's have a look. A few people talking about the Champions League. Clownface thinks that Liverpool will win the Champions League. I hope we do, mate. I really do. People asking, Arjun is asking, sorry, which team Liverpool will get in the quarter-final. I said this the other day. I hope it's Dortmund. I would like it to be Dortmund. I have a feeling that it'll be Manchester City that we draw. And a team I would desperately like to avoid is Porto, because I think their tactics are, they're defensively stable. They're well structured, and they look like a side that we'd struggle against. So I would like to avoid Porto. I'm just looking now. Luke Ayling is down for Leeds. He looks in some pain. He's rubbing his knee. It looks like a sore one for Ayling, who is still down. Rudiger tried to help him up, but it looks like Ayling will need treatment here. It looks a bit totally unnecessary. There was a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other between Rudiger and Luke Ayling then. But Chelsea will make a change now, and they'll make a double change. I can see Reece James and Timo Werner kitted up and ready to come on for Chelsea now. But will Leeds be forced into a change? Luke Ayling is still down and still receiving treatment on that knee. Let me have a look into the comments. Any more comments from you? St. Troy says, I just don't want Bayern or an English team. Elevator Kid also wants to avoid Bayern. Lil Cron says, Haaland would enjoy playing against your weakened defence, though Dortmund would be bad for you. There's no easy draw in the last 8. Let me just put it that way. But, I think Dortmund would be a nice draw for us. And I think they're a team that we're capable of getting past. But the Chelsea changes then, it is Ziyech and Pulisic who have made way, and Reece James and Timo Werner who have entered the fray. There's just over 20 minutes left in this game. It hasn't been the most riveting, as you've probably been able to tell from this stream. A bit of a snooze fest, this one. I get these an awful lot, don't I, the snooze fests. But I can just see now Luke Ayling is back to his feet and walking off. So he looks like he may be able to continue, which is good news for Leeds, who have already lost Patrick Bamford today to an injury, of course. Lilcron thinks Chelsea is probably our best bet in the Champions League. Interesting. Bayern are on fire. A lot of people keen to avoid Bayern Munich, the holders of the Champions League, of course. Here's Azpilicueta, who can't get the ball under control. It's a poor first touch from him. Rodrigo does well in the end. And there's Luke Ayling, who finds Llorente. Werner pressing Leeds well. He looks like he's up for it today. Here's Rafinha on this near side for Leeds. Finds Tyler Roberts, who does so well to turn Jorginho there and play the ball in behind towards Rafinha. Christensen recovers well for Chelsea and gets it out for a Leeds throw. But I've been impressed with Tyler Roberts today. He's been really, really good for Leeds. And he did really well to turn Jorginho then. He had a good effort in the first half that hit the crossbar after it glanced off the fingertips of Mendy. But here it is, the Leeds throw, Alioski to Rafinha. Rafinha whips the ball across, headed away by Christensen. Calvin Phillips has it back for Leeds, but Chelsea have the ball, and it's Werner. Tackled by Alioski and fouled by Alioski, who will be entering Kevin Friend's book now as a yellow card. Yeah, it was a strong challenge from Alioski, and the second leg came through. It was almost sort of a scissor-like challenge. Definitely a yellow card offence. I think he's gone through the man and caught the ball. Let's have a look in the comments again. What's everyone thinking about this game now? Obviously, before the game, I thought it would be 3-1 to Chelsea. Now, I think Chelsea will win by 1-0. I think it's been a poor match, really. It's been very flat. There's not been too many chances for either side, but both sides have had good chances. Tyler Roberts having Leeds' best chance. And of course, they had a goal ruled out for offside in the first half too. Correctly ruled out, I must say. Patrick Bamford was a good couple of yards offside in the end, as Rudiger strikes the ball from distance, and Meslier ends up parrying. It wasn't a nice one for the Leeds goalkeeper to stop, that's for sure. It was hit with power by the German defender. Here's Azpilicueta now for Chelsea. Christensen. Sharon Okanuma says, "Do I think Atletico will beat Chelsea?" It's an interesting one. I thought Atletico were one of my favourites for the Champions League ahead of this last 16. But, you know, they were poor in that first leg against Chelsea. But, you know, a 1-0 win from Chelsea, it's not the most comfortable of wins. And they're without Mason Mount in the second leg. So Atletico certainly aren't out of the tie. But it's a big night for both Atletico and Chelsea on Wednesday. Can Chelsea hold on? They've looked good. They've looked resurgent under Thomas Tuchel. They haven't lost, of course, under the German. Can they keep that record intact? It's currently 0-0 between them and Leeds here in a game that has been rather dull, not a riveting affair between. And the next game, I hate to tell you, in the Premier League is West Brom versus Crystal Palace. So maybe the afternoon won't get any more riveting. I was hoping for a goal fest here between Chelsea and Leeds, but it's been quite the opposite, 0-0. Very dull at times. Here is Llorente, who tries to get it under control with his chest. Wins it back for Leeds. Stuart Dallas, Dallas. Luke Ayling plays it back to Meslier in between the sticks for Leeds. His distribution there is poor and he loses it to Reece James, but Chelsea can't get it under control, and then Llorente boots the ball forwards. St. Troy says facing Real Madrid would be interesting. It certainly would. You know, two teams who I think it's worth saying are underperforming this season. Real Madrid aren't looking their best and haven't done for the last couple of years, have they? So I think, to be honest, it'll be a decent draw for us, Real Madrid. It would. I wouldn't be too against it. We saw City knock them out in the last 16 last year, of course. Could we knock them out? Let me know what you think. MCFC fan 10, so a City fan, thinks that they'll draw Chelsea in the Champions League. Interesting. As I say, I just have this feeling that we'll draw Manchester City. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that we'll get another English club. Cube urging Leeds to get the win here. As I can see, Rodrigo is about to be another Leeds man that enters the book of Kevin Friend this afternoon as he picks up a yellow card for a foul on Azpilicueta just inside the Leeds half. Lil Cron says Atalanta will beat Madrid. Interesting. Not a bad shout there, though. Carpet Steve saying, do I have my own channel? I do a lot for this channel. I do a lot of watch-alongs. I do a lot for Craig on Anfield Agenda. I've featured on Redmen TV as well. But I do run my own channel too, called The Academy. And it's based on all players under the age of 22. It used to be Redmen Academy, but we've rebranded. We're now The Academy. We've had a good video out recently with Stephen McKinney, or Esteemed Company, as you lot may know him, about the academy at Manchester City. They have some very, very good young talent at the moment, Manchester City. You know, the likes of Liam Delap, James McAtee, Cole Palmer, some really good young talent. You might want to go and check that out. It was a good video, and Esteemed Company is a good lad. He's got his own fan channel for Manchester City. Rudiger over to the left-hand side. Here's Ben Chilwell now, who's brought to ground by Helder Costa, but fairly, says Kevin Friend. It looked like he just fell, to be fair. It didn't look like there was much in it. And here's Stuart Dallas, who does really well to turn Reece James here. Reece James, who's come on for Chelsea in that double substitution with Werner moments ago. Hudson-Odoi is preparing to come on as well, as Tyler Roberts finds Helder Costa. Can Leeds create a chance here? Here's Luke Ayling, who looks to put the cross across, but it's blocked by Mason Mount and out for a corner. St. Troy says, I have a feeling we will get Real Madrid or Chelsea. I can just sense it. Well, Leeds also ready in a sub. I think it's Click who will be coming on for Leeds. And I think I've just heard that Rodrigo, who came on for Bamford in the first half after 35 minutes, I've heard that Rodrigo will be making way for Click, if I've heard that right from the quiet television that I can hear. But here's Rafinha on the overlap for Leeds. He pulls it back to the centre-back, Llorente, and it's blocked over the bar by Rudiger. Really good chance for Leeds there, who are causing this Chelsea defence problems. And once again, Tyler Roberts involved heavily. He plays a lovely ball through to Rafinha. And it's pulled back to Llorente, the centre-half for Leeds, who gets a shot in the way. And I wondered if the deflection of Rudiger would send it into the top corner, but instead it sent it over, and Rafinha takes the corner in towards the near post. And I think that's come off Hayden and into the Chelsea player last, Reece James, is it? Yeah, it's come off Reece James last. It'll be another corner for Leeds. Let's have a look in the comments again. Elevator Kid says, I think we will get Dortmund, but I hope we get PSG because PSG are bottlers. Interesting. I wouldn't like to come up against PSG, that's for sure. The ball's in and towards Rodrigo, who heads goal bound, but it's straight at Mendy in the end. But Mendy stumbled it a bit. He couldn't catch it straight away. And Leeds really are causing a few issues to the Chelsea defence today. But it's still 0-0, just over 10 minutes left. Leeds still yet to make that sub Click. Still yet to come on. And as for Chelsea, Hudson-Odoi hasn't entered the fray yet either, as Rodrigo has just been found offside. Right, it's going to be interesting here if Rodrigo is the man to make way. I wonder why it would be him coming off. And it is, yeah, and he looks surprised, the Spaniard. He's only just come back from injury, I suppose. That might be why, maybe, but you'd think that he wouldn't have been brought on for Bamford then if that was the case. Are they changing formation now? We'll soon see, but Click has come on. And Rodrigo, who, as I say, replaced Bamford in the 35th minute, the injured Bamford, he makes way. As Hudson-Odoi comes on and Mason Mount comes off for Chelsea, a key player for Chelsea in recent weeks, but he hasn't been too great for them today. Chelsea haven't been too great today, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. Rudiger will take the free kick for Chelsea now. So, Click coming on for Leeds. Hudson-Odoi coming on for Chelsea. Can we have a late winner for either side here? As Calvin Phillips wins the ball in the air for Leeds. There is Llorente, who loses it to Kante. Kante over to Chilwell on the left-hand side. Ben Chilwell looks up towards Timo Werner, but he's released it too late, and Luke Ayling gets it under control for Leeds, puts it past Ben Chilwell to Helder Costa and gets it back, Luke Ayling. Quite a few players losing their footing on this surface. And the latest one is Ben Chilwell, who trips over his own feet by the looks of it. Cube says Bielsa masterclass incoming. Yeah, it would be a huge result for Leeds if they can be the first side to beat Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Eliza John 5 doesn't think there'll be a goal in this. Says, folks, looks like it's going to end goalless. And as I say, it doesn't get much better. Crystal Palace, West Brom follows this one in terms of the Premier League, as Llorente loses the ball now and Kante plays a lovely ball through to Hudson-Odoi, but Hudson-Odoi can't get it under control. A real chance for Chelsea there as Leeds cause their own problems, losing it at the back. Or I think if they'd have drawn them silly lines, Hudson-Odoi may have been slightly offside then anyway. Let's have a look as Alioski brings the ball forwards for Leeds. Aspilicueta, Alioski. Yeah, I'm just having a look back at that Leeds chance with Tyler Roberts in the first half. A really good effort. I think that's the best chance of the game. Tyler Roberts curling an effort into the crossbar. It does look like Mendy got a slight fingertip on it, but I think it was hitting the bar anyway. And Mendy breathed a sigh of relief as it managed to just stay out in the end. Elevator Kid says, this looks like a boring week. Newcastle versus Villa wasn't that great either. Yeah, I hear Villa were lucky to get a point from that. I hear they weren't great. They're really missing Matty Cash and Grealish at the moment, aren't they? Cube says, Leeds can't afford to lose Rafinha. It'll be hard to replace him. It will, but I think Leeds fans will probably trust their recruitment. They recruited well in the summer. I don't think they'll let him go. At least if they do, it will be a significant fee that they ask for him. But, you know, there will be a lot of suitors for Rafinha. He's a very, very good talent, a really good talent. And I hope Liverpool are in for him in the summer as the ball's put forwards and pumped forwards long towards Werner, who looks to bring it down for Hudson-Odoi. But Leeds win it back, and it's back to Meslier, who goes forwards towards Rafinha, who gets it under control on his chest. Here's Strujic now for Leeds, who goes across towards Luke Ayling, who has clearly lost his footing on a few occasions today with a muddied back. But his ball is poor, and it runs through to the feet of Mendy. 8 minutes to go in this one. Can either side get a winner here? Strujic, Tyler Roberts, Werner. Strujic tackles, but Chelsea have the ball back, and it's Rudiger. Rudiger forwards to Hudson-Odoi on the halfway line for Chelsea now. Reece James as the two substitutes for Chelsea combine. Reece James looks forwards for Kante. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. There's a slight nudge from Stuart Dallas, and Leeds get the ball back. The ball's whipped forwards towards Rafinha. Can he cause a few problems for Azpilicueta? No. Chelsea win the ball back. Kante to Reece James. What do you lot think? Do you lot think we'll have a late winner here? Or do you think it'll end goalless? I was hoping for a much better second half, but it's been equally as dull, probably more dull, actually, than the first 45 minutes. Kian saying, just joined, was it a boring game? Yes, it's been incredibly boring. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. A bit of a snooze fest. There's been some good chances, though. But it's been a pretty boring game, and it was a game that I was hoping would be a good one. I was hoping for a goal fest today between Leeds and Chelsea, but it hasn't to be. They show up, gets across, but it's deflected by Helder Costa and straight into the hands of Meslier. Meslier taking his time with this one. It'll be a big point for Leeds if they can hold on here. And as I say, I feel like they've had the better chances. If any of you in the comments have been watching them, or if you've just been watching me, I think you'll agree with me on that one. Roberts caught offside. I don't like this late flag. You know, Tyler Roberts has brought that ball under control. He's passed it on, and then the flag goes up. And to me, he looks on. I honestly don't. I don't get this late flag, because if he was doing it late, then let Leeds finish their attack. If he wasn't sure on it, why didn't he let Leeds finish their attack? Makes no sense to me. But you know, Chelsea have the free kick, and the Leeds chance is taken away from them. But as I say, the replay suggested to me he was onside. It was very tight. Here's Kai Havertz for Chelsea. Oh, an offside now for Timo Werner, and Leeds will get the free kick, the indirect free kick. 5 minutes to go here plus stoppage time. I can't wait for this game to end, to be honest with you. Here is Strujic now for Leeds. Strujic roams forwards with the ball. Jorginho gets a foot in to prevent it from going to Click, and now's Christensen. Mendy forwards. Well, just a few words on Chelsea. They haven't looked great today. They haven't created too many opportunities. Kai Havertz was pretty poor in front of goal. But as I say, Leeds have certainly had the better opportunities in this one. Tyler Roberts having the best chance of the game as his strike thundered the crossbar. And from a Chelsea perspective, Leeds have looked a bit messy at the back today. So, you know, they won't be happy at the small amount of chances they've created. And Chelsea take the free kick quickly. Kante to Rudiger, who's high up the field for Chelsea today. He goes left to Chilwell. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Rudiger. Back to Hudson-Odoi, who skips through. And can he get a shot underway? He does, but it's straight into the hands of Meslier. Cube saying it would be a classic if Werner gets a goal now, if he's on the pitch. Yes, he is on the pitch. He came on in a double substitution with Reece James about 20 minutes ago now, and I've hardly said his name. He's not had too much of an impact on this one. As Leeds play the ball along the back now. Strujic towards Dallas, who clips a ball in behind to Tyler Roberts, whose first touch lets him down there. But to be fair, the pass was slightly behind Tyler Roberts, who I've been impressed with today. The young lad for Leeds. Christensen. Back to Mendy. Mendy now for Chelsea. Can either side find a late winner here? They've got 3 minutes plus stoppage time to do so. Rudiger. Christensen. What a boring game this has been. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Hopefully tomorrow, when I am on Mundo Sporto for the North London derby, it is a lot more exciting than this. Then I'll be followed by Craig, who will be doing Manchester United versus West Ham on this channel. A good ball in behind from Callum Hudson-Odoi, but once again, it had too much on it, and Werner can't keep it in. And it's a frustrated Thomas Tuchel that the camera has just panned to. Cube says, shame Leeds have had injuries at the back. Both of their new defenders were injured straight away. Yeah, they've had a few injuries this season, Leeds, as many teams have. We've seen Patrick Bamford go off injured in the early stages of this game as well. Bielsa looks very angry on the sideline too. Both managers not looking too happy with their team's performances, as Tyler Roberts wins the ball in the air but can't prevent it from going out for a Chelsea throw-in on the halfway line on this left-hand side of the pitch. Chilwell throws and loses it to Luke Ayling, who plays a 1-2 with Helder Costa and gets it back. Click, looks in behind, but Costa can't get on the end of it. And that's been the story of the game, really. Both teams misplacing passes. It's been a game of possession for both sides, to be honest with you. And the final ball hasn't quite been there for either side. So boring, says Sean. Yep, it really is. I'm sorry that you lot have had to watch this game with me. I'm trying to find cocktail sticks to keep my eyes open after this. I'm definitely going to need a coffee. And I'll tell you this for sure, I won't be watching West Brom Palace. Over to the left-hand side where Rudiger is. Christensen now. Christensen skips forwards with the ball at his feet. Can he create something? The centre-half for Chelsea, but no. The final ball just isn't there again, and that is the story of this game. It's been one of those days where both sides trying to create, but the final ball hasn't been there on numerous occasions. Chelsea have been quite poor, to be honest with you. Meslier to Llorente. Meslier. Still, though, Chelsea haven't lost under Thomas Tuchel. And as I say, a big week for them. Atletico Madrid on Wednesday in the Champions League. It would be funny, wouldn't it, if Thomas Tuchel goes to Chelsea and does really well with them in the Champions League after getting PSG to the Champions League final last season, falling just short in Lisbon. Reece James takes the throw on the right-hand side. It's given away to Leeds, but Leeds can't keep the ball and it's given back to Chelsea. Reece James loses it to Rafinha, and the ball is put over the top towards Rafinha now. Can he create something for Leeds? Really good defending, Christensen. Rafinha looks to get the cross in. It's blocked by Christensen and comes back off Rafinha and out for a Chelsea goal kick. And that sums the day up. We'll have 3 minutes of added time now at Elland Road. It's still Leeds 0, Chelsea 0 in what has been a bit of a dull, drab affair between Leeds and Chelsea. But Rudiger skips forwards with the ball for Chelsea. Can they find a late winner? Kai Havertz to Kante. And N'Golo Kante over to Reece James on this right-hand side. He puts the ball across. Timo Werner completely mishits that. And Was it blocked by Strujic? I think it must have been. It's been given a corner. So, yeah, it was a weird effort from Werner. I thought it must have taken a touch off a Leeds player, and it has. A corner's been given. Can Chelsea produce a snatch and grab here late on? Reece James whips the corner in towards Rudiger. There's Werner. Headed away by Jack Harrison. Werner back in towards Azpilicueta. Harrison. Sorry, not Harrison. It's Calvin Phillips. Harrison went off earlier on. There's quite a few players for Leeds with the top knot, isn't there? But it is Calvin Phillips there who is Leeds' man to get that ball away from danger. We've got about 1 minute left of stoppage time. Will we have a goal here at Ellen Road? Callum Hudson-Odoi over to N'Golo Kante. Kante looks forwards, turns on the ball. Can he create something? Callum Hudson-Odoi flicks it from one foot to another and goes over to the right-hand side to Reece James. Reece James looks to get past Alioski, but goes backwards to Hudson-Odoi instead. Hudson-Odoi looks to play James in behind, but the ball goes out for a goal kick. And I think that will be it for today's action between Chelsea and Leeds. I think we'll have seen a boring 0-0 here between Chelsea, who have been flying under Thomas Tuchel, but haven't quite been at the races today, and Leeds. It looks to me like it will end 0-0. Alioski limping at the moment, but Leeds fans will hope he can shake that off if he's injured. This game still 0-0, and we're into the last 10 seconds of stoppage time. It's been boring. It's been frustrating, but it's had its moments. Tyler Roberts has hit the bar. Leeds also hit their own bar with a comical piece of defending. But Meslier hits the ball long now. Rudiger wins the header. Strujic wins it for Leeds. And Kevin Friend blows his whistle. A boring, dull game at Ellen Road. It's finished 0-0. And before I go, I'll just play this little video to remind you of who our sponsors were for this one. OneFootball. But Tyler Roberts had the best chance. His strike was thundered against the bar. He's my man of the match for today. I was very impressed with him, to be honest with you. But the game is finished 0-0. It's been pretty dull, pretty drab, pretty boring. And next up in the Premier League is Crystal Palace against West Brom. But if you haven't downloaded OneFootball, make sure you do now. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is the only football app you need to follow thousands of teams, hundreds of leagues and competitions worldwide. It is packed with all the latest news, videos, fixtures, scores, stats, and key dates. And it personalizes the content that you want. It allows you to put your favorite team in, your favorite leagues, the fixtures you want to follow. It is an incredible app that I use, all my friends use, my family use it, everyone I know uses OneFootball. And if you're not using it yet, you need to go and download it. So there we have it. Not the brightest of games between Chelsea and Leeds. Chelsea, though, still haven't lost under Thomas Tuchel. Just a reminder that on Mundo Sporto tomorrow, I will be back for the North London derby. And then after the North London derby between Arsenal and Spurs tomorrow, Craig will be doing Manchester United versus West Ham. Thank you for joining me for this one. And I'm sorry that it wasn't a better game between Chelsea and Leeds. Chelsea, stay fourth. I shall see you very soon. Ta-ra.